Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming to the Montfort Academy tonight for our open house. And so this is the beginning of a tour that will last about an hour. And of course, we'll spend some time here, and then you'll go around the building and you'll meet more of our teachers and our students along the way. We start in our church because, well, really for two reasons. The first is because it's so beautiful, and we want you to see it. The second is because this church, our church, represents two things for which the Montfort Academy strongly believes, in which the Montfort Academy strongly believes. First, that there is such a thing as objective truth. And second, that it is knowable. It's knowable to us as teachers and as adults, and it's knowable to students. And that really is at the heart of education, the pursuit of truth and the ability to find it. And how do you find it? You find it by receiving the great tools of learning, right? Things that maybe have been lost along the way. Montfort is a classical Catholic academy, and it is going to be different from anything else you're going to see in the Archdiocese of New York. It's going to be different from anything you'll see in any other private school anywhere in New York. The only schools that are succeeding in this country right now are schools that are opening with a classical approach to education. And you're going to ask, what does that mean? And these teachers are here to tell you that. And by the time you leave here tonight, I think you're going to see that. It starts with a great curriculum, and these teachers are going to unpack that curriculum for you tonight. But the curriculum can only go so far. Montfort is a private Catholic school in New York. Therefore, it's expensive. Some of the Catholic schools or private schools that you go to will be a little cheaper. Some of them, many of them, will be a lot more expensive. But in my view, all of them are a sacrifice for families to send their kids. So the question becomes, what are you paying for? And I would argue that you're not paying to put your children in front of a computer so that some third party can teach them. You're paying for 43 minutes, 7 times a day, 5 days per week, for 40 weeks with this staff, with these teachers. You're paying for that time in a classroom with teachers who love their subject matter, care deeply about it, and care deeply about your students. And that's why we believe it's so important for you to see who our teachers are. This is one of the most outstanding staff of teachers you will see anywhere. What will they do? They will engage your children in a lively, energetic classroom discussion about everything. And the things that we learn in our lives, we learn through discussion with other people. Aristotle said we seek truth in friendship. And that's what happens here at Montfort every single day in the classroom. What's the result of that? What's the product of that? The product will be young men and women who graduate from Montfort, deeply immersed in their faith, who go out into the world and who can discern the difference between truth and falsehood, who can discern the difference between what is good, true, and beautiful and what is ugly and wrong. And that's getting trickier and trickier to figure out in the world we live in. So it requires a deep sense of faith, but it requires the ability to reason rightly, to reason logically, so you can cut through the vagaries of false arguments and understand and try to pursue the truth. All right? They will also meet here, and hopefully you've already met them and you will meet a lot more of them, wonderful students who will be their friends, the people that they go to school with every day, and who will be their friends for the rest of their lives, and will set for them a definition of what true friendship is. So I'm going to allow our teachers now to speak for themselves and to speak for our school and for its curriculum. And I want you all to remember, and all of us to remember, where we are. We're in the place that symbolizes truth, this church, our church. But also, we're in the presence of truth itself, and that is our Lord Jesus Christ present in the Holy Tabernacle. So, without further ado, Mr. Mari, would you begin? Thank you.
My name is Mr. Mari, and I am a teacher of foreign languages. I'd like to begin by taking a poll. How many of you would like to travel to a faraway place for free? Well, if you want to travel to a faraway place for free, then language class is the place to be. You can journey through the tropical rainforest of Costa Rica, visit castles in Spain, and climb the Leaning Tower of Pisa. How many of you would like to meet fascinating people, interesting people? You should definitely study a foreign language. You can meet and converse with students in Honduras, archaeologists in Pompeii, and athletes in the Dominican Republic through Skype or field trips. How many of you would like to travel in a time machine to the 1st century AD? In our Latin class, you will see the Colosseum and the racetrack made famous in Ben-Hur. You will meet emperors and senators and even a Roman family. How many of you want to expand your mind? If you want to expand your mind and your vocabulary, don't take drugs. Take Latin. In Latin class, you will learn hundreds of new English words that come from Latin. You will become more nimble in reading, speaking, and writing English. You will expand your vision and your way of thinking for the rest of the class, the rest of the year, and the rest of your life. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mari. Hello, my name is Mark Edelson, and I teach math here at the Montfort Academy. First, I just want to say what a blessing it is to be here today with all of you. I'm a graduate of the Montfort Academy, and I'm so happy to be back teaching at my alma mater, the first alumnus to come back as a member of our outstanding faculty here. It's really such a gift to have this opportunity to give back to Montfort, especially since it's been such a tremendous blessing, not only in my life, but in the life of my family as well. At the Montfort Academy, the integration of faith and reason is not merely an ideal, but a reality. This applies to the entire curriculum at Montfort, including mathematics. Galileo once said, "Mathematics is the language with which God has written the universe." In other words, there are mathematical relationships inscribed into the natural order, into God's wonderful creation. If we are able to understand this, we can start to see that there is an intelligent creator behind the world around us. And we are called to reflect on the infinite goodness of God and the great love He has for us. At the Montfort Academy, our math courses are taught first and foremost with the objective that students come to understand the beauty and objectivity of mathematics. We want our students to learn to appreciate how mathematical concepts and relationships taught in daily lessons reflect the infinite goodness and intelligence of God. We teach our students to express themselves using the language of mathematics, described by Galileo, in line with the Socratic method. Even Bertrand Russell once said, "Mathematics, when rightly viewed, possesses not only truth, but supreme beauty." By stressing the pursuit of truth, goodness, and beauty in our math curriculum at the Montfort Academy, we are preparing our students not only to pursue studies in mathematics at the collegiate level and beyond, but we are instilling in them a great love for mathematics and its relationship to their faith. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Cindy Frank, and I have the pleasure of teaching art history, fine arts, literature, ancient Roman history at the Montfort Academy, and I am also the very proud debate coach here at Montfort. Tonight I'm here to talk to you about the arts here at the Montfort Academy. At Montfort, the arts are a proud and ennobling part of our curriculum, enriching the thinking of our students, not just throughout their time at school here, but throughout their lives. We believe that a deep and nuanced understanding and appreciation of the arts is essential to a classical education and to creating not just whole and rounded students, but whole and rounded people. In our fine arts program, our students study the work of the most esteemed nature writers, from Jean-Henri Fabre to John Muir, as they learn to draw directly from nature in the manner of the great 19th century scientists. In addition, Montfort is at the forefront in reviving the lost art of penmanship, as we believe strong and beautiful penmanship is a singular visual expression of who one is as a confident individual. Our curriculum is anchored both with a full art history course in 9th grade, followed by a complete survey course of the history of music in 10th. This intensive, multifaceted dual study changes the perspective of history itself to give our students the understanding that, as the great soprano Beverly Sills once said, that art truly is the signature of civilizations. In addition, our magnificent Schola singing group enhances each and every Mass celebrated with our students and faculty. Our a cappella singers perform regularly. Our theater department produces two complete productions a year, a Shakespeare in the fall and a complete musical in the spring. Every afternoon, several times a month actually, our students meet for swing dance lessons in the basement, and trust me, Montfort students can swing dance like nobody else. We are blessed in so many respects here at the Montfort Academy, and so too for the study of the arts. We are always aware that we're a mere heartbeat or a train ride away from one of the most artistically vital cities in the world, New York City. New York is truly an extension of the Montfort Academy campus, as we regularly lead our students everywhere from the Met to Lincoln Center, from Broadway to the Botanical Gardens. Our embrace of the arts here at Montfort is pervasive and passionate, and that passion, sensitivity, and understanding is returned by our wonderful students in their own embrace of the arts. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Dr. Nathan Leibowitz, and I'm one of the history teachers, one of two history teachers at the Montfort Academy. The Montfort Academy's history courses are grounded in the firm conviction that ideas and people matter. Its two full-time history teachers work hard to show how great ideas like equality before the law and the unexamined life is not worth living, have influenced the course of history. The history faculty also work hard to make history come alive, to demonstrate the continuities in history and the contemporary relevance of key events. Events like the trial of Socrates and Pericles, events that have taken place over 2,000 years ago, are brought back to life in the classroom to show how they influence the development of modern democracy, the democracy that we live in now, jurisprudence, and science as well. Inspired by the Great Books program at the University of Chicago, and folks, it doesn't get much better than the University of Chicago, our teachers believe that history students should be exposed to the writings of Plato, Aristotle, Cicero, St. Thomas Aquinas, John Locke, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, Alexis de Tocqueville, Maya Angelou, Abraham Lincoln, Teddy Roosevelt, and Dr. Martin Luther King. This respect for the classics of philosophy and history does not prevent our history teachers from helping students understand the challenges they face in today's post-industrial world. Please note that our graduates walk out with a firm understanding of the values and ideals that are traditionally associated with Western civilization, as well as an appreciation of the history of science, economics, and political science. They walk out with a kind of background and training that will serve them well in any top-notch university in the United States. So, thank you. Look forward to meeting some of you individually.
Hello, my name is Mr. Visnanzo. I teach literature, trivium, and theology here. And I'm going to talk to you about the value of reading the great books. Students in our society need to read complex texts. Many texts used in schools these days are easier to read because they're written with adolescence in mind. Frequently, they are novels which cater to adolescents and are easily digested and understood by them without guidance or assistance. The problem? These books are not challenging, either in their language or in their ideas. Educational experts say that an essential part of improving reading ability is making students read books that are a bit beyond them. Books many of them will struggle to understand by themselves, but which they can read and understand with the assistance of a teacher. But we don't just read great literature to improve reading ability. We read great literature to improve thinking, and most importantly, to touch the hearts of children, to make them aspire for the best things in life, to see the divine and the human in themselves and in everyone they come into contact with, to love the true good, and to hate evil and every false way of living. The author Franz Kafka once said that we should read books that wound and stab us, books that can melt the frozen sea inside of us. That means literature, I think, like The Great Gatsby, like Augustine's Confessions, like the fiction of Flannery O'Connor, like T.S. Eliot's poetry, like Joyce's A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man, like Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, like Dante's Divine Comedy. There are some books, some stories, some poems that last. There are some books that are not merely good, but great, because of the mind and the heart and the tradition that formed them and gave them life. There are some works one needs to be familiar with to be able to take part in the great conversation of Western civilization. We don't always have to be reading great literature, but high school is the place to start. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Bridget Dowd, and this is my second year teaching at the Montfort Academy. I teach Latin and grammar and composition. I'm a graduate of the Fordham University Honors Program at Rose Hill, where I majored in English and classical language. As a college student, I thought it would take a miracle for me to be able to put both of my majors to good use. Little did I know. After college, I returned to Fordham for a master's in English. During my master's program, I worked in Fordham's Writing Center, where I encountered intelligent, driven college students who could barely put together a coherent sentence. They would jump back from the table at the mention of words like verb and semicolon. They would tell me they had never learned grammar as though that was a reason to pretend it didn't exist. I realized during those sessions that something in high school education needed to change, but I never thought that I would be able to find a job that allowed me to do that. Little did I know. In my freshman grammar and composition class, students learn the basic building blocks of language. By learning its foundation, we are able to better understand, appreciate, and utilize God's beautiful gift of language. By the end of freshman year, students are expected to be able to write a short, solid essay. As they progress through the trivium, sophomores work on creating an analytical 5-paragraph essay. As juniors, they work on writing research papers. Finally, by senior year, those students who have been selected to participate in the honors program spend their year working on an honors thesis paper to be defended in the spring. The thesis serves as a capstone paper, interweaving topics from various disciplines. Moreover, it prepares our students so that they will not, at the mention of words like argument or analysis, jump away from the table. Instead, our students, as Montfort students always do, will lean in and embrace the challenge. In addition to teaching English and Latin classes, this year I've begun a creative writing club. At the end of the year, we will be publishing a literary magazine consisting of student work and edited by students. I've also helped to open up a chapter of the National Honor Society here at Montfort. This is an organization that recognizes students who excel in areas of leadership, service, academics, and character. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Bob Greisen, and I teach health to juniors. In the health class, we teach advanced first aid, CPR, the Heimlich maneuver, the devastating travesties of drugs and alcohol, and the virtues of abstinence. I also teach business course to seniors, where they learn real-life budgeting, portfolio strategies, and risk management. The students are giving fake $25,000 to invest any way they want, and it's reviewed on a weekly basis, and at the end of 3 months, we will see where their profit and loss is. My background in business is I was a member and a governor of the New York Stock Exchange for over 30 years. So when it comes to equities and debt, I pretty much know all the answers to that. I'm also the athletic director here and phys ed teacher. And in an earlier life, I played for the United States Olympic men's field hockey team, and for a brief stint, I played for the New York Rangers. I've coached 17 and under boys in hockey, and in 6 years, we won 2 New York State championships. We have completely and totally transformed the phys ed department here at Montfort. In the past 2 years, Montfort student athlete alumni have participated in the sports that they played here in Division I and Division III college. The sports program is an integral part of the Montfort Academy. A Montfort student athlete is a competitor who plays to win, has respect for their opponent and their sport, is loyal to the school, their coach, and their teammates. I played and coached competitive athletics pretty high up, and if you want a winning attitude and a winning way of being taught to play athletics, Montfort is the place to be. Thank you.
Hi there. I'm Dr. Kelly Connolly, and I'm going to say a word about philosophy. While many universities have philosophy as part of their undergraduate liberal arts curriculum, it is a rare offering for a high school. So why does Montfort offer a course in philosophy? The answer to this question is illustrated perfectly by the man everyone associates with philosophy, Socrates. Why is Socrates known as the wisest man in Athens? Because he knows that he does not know. That is to say, he is aware of his own ignorance, and therefore humble before the truth. Humility before the truth ought to be the hallmark of any real education, and certainly a Catholic one. Philosophy promotes humility in the pursuit of truth, but it is also guided by the unrelenting questioning of the human mind, that pressing desire to understand something, the refusal to be satisfied by the cover story. And this is partially why philosophy is important for high school students. They are filled with questions and unafraid to test some boundaries to get answers. Their world is often a world of cover stories and appearances. Philosophy teaches them to look deeper, to question that world in search of one of substance and permanence. For example, in his dialogue called The Ion, Plato raises the question of the interpretation of poetry. The students quickly realize that this is not about literary criticism, but about how a society is shaped by its stories and their interpreters. Whether it's the New York Times bestseller list, or more likely, pop music and social media, these are the stories of their time. Students reading Plato are taught to be somewhat wary of such interpreters. Plato gives them the questions which help them determine whether this is wisdom or just vanity. Philosophy not only urges students to distinguish between appearances and reality, but it also encourages them to follow wherever the truth may lead. St. Augustine is famous for saying, "Wherever you may find truth, even if it comes from an unlikely source, you should not shy away from it. Rather, you should adopt it and put it to good use. In other words, you should claim it for Christ. All truth is God's truth, Augustine would say, and its pursuit will lead us to nothing short of that perfect union with him. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Matthew Torelli. I'm a lay Franciscan, and I'm the campus minister here at the Montfort Academy. And I'm here briefly to discuss with you why theology is so very important to us here. As you've heard through the talks of the teachers this evening, theology is the heart of who we are here at the Montfort Academy. It's not simply a class, but it is a way of life to the faculty and the students alike. It's not something that we study or just do in the classroom, but it's something that we live each and every day of our lives. It's accomplished in the way that we treat one another, and in doing so, we create a safe and happy environment here at the Academy. But we can understand it in terms of academics. During a school year, your children are given knowledge, they learn, and at the end of that school year, they're given a final exam to test that knowledge. Well, here at the Academy, we are getting your children ready for the final exam, the one that will prepare them for all eternity. The world has become a very dark and confusing place. Most are not able to see clearly right from wrong, good from evil. Our goal is to teach our children how to change that, so that they become the best examples for others in the world to follow, and in doing so, can change others and then change the world into a safe and happy environment as well. I look forward to seeing your children when they come here. Thank you for your time, and God bless you.